Okay, so quick warm-up before day 10 notes. What's the y-intercept of this equation? Well, to find the y-intercept, we need to move the x's over. We get negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 24. We have to get y by itself, so we divide everything by negative 2, which gives me y equals positive 3 halves x, 3 halves is the slope, minus 12. 0, negative 12. Okay, day 10, compositions. So now we're going to be able to draw glide reflections and other compositions of isometrics in the coordinate plane. Doesn't that sound like fun? When a transformation is applied to a figure and then another transformation is applied, the result is called a composition of transformations. We actually already did that. So in the day, I believe, 8 practice, we had those two kind of rectangular shaped things where it was reflected and a slide. Do you remember that? So glide reflection. The composition of a translation followed by a reflection in a line parallel to the translation vector. This will all make sense in a bit. But if you look at this, basically we slid here and then reflected. And then we slid here and then reflected. So JKL has vertices at 5, negative 1, J. K is at 6, negative 2, and L at 4, negative 3. So this tiny little triangle right there. 5, negative 1, 6, negative 2, and 4, negative 3. Now, graph JKL and its new images after a translation 0, 4, then a reflection of the y-axis. So first step, translate it. 0, 4. Remember, this means, the 0 means no movement left and right. All we're doing is moving the entire thing up 4 spaces. So we're going to move J up 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. And K, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. And L, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So here's my J prime, K prime, and L prime. So notice J is still over 5, and now 3, 5, 3. And K is still right 6, but now up 2. And L is still right 4, but instead of negative 3, it's at positive 1. Now, we're going to reflect it across the y-axis. Remember, the y-axis is this vertical line here. So all we're going to do is count over. L prime is 4 spaces to the right, so we're going to go 4 spaces to the left. And that is L double prime. K is 6 spaces right, so we're going to go 6 spaces right. That's K double prime. And J, up here, is 5 spaces, so we go 5 spaces, J double prime. And there is our triangle after it has been translated and then reflected. So J prime is at negative 5, positive 3. K prime, double prime. K double prime is at negative 6, positive 2. And L prime is at negative 4, positive 1. PQR, P is at 1, 1, Q is at 2, 5, and R is at 4, 2. P, Q, R. Now, we're going to translate it negative 2, which just means left 2, and that's it. We're just going to use it. This 0 means no movement up and down. So we're just shifting everything 2 spaces to the left. That's it. So we just slid it over. So P prime is at -1, +1. And Q prime is at 0, 5. And R prime is at 2, +2. So our Y's did not change. Notice, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, 2. Only thing that changed was the X's because we moved the whole thing left and to the left. We did not move up or down. Now we're reflecting across the x-axis, which is right here. So we just count. 1 for R prime was 2 up, so we go 2 down. There's R double prime. P was 1 above, P prime, so P double prime is 1 below. And Q prime was 5 above, so Q double prime is going to be 5 below. And so now P double prime is at -1, -1. Q is going to be at 0 still, but at -5. And Q double prime and R double prime is still going to be at 2. It's just going to be at -2 on the Y. If you notice, all of these right here are exactly opposite of these. And notice our X's did not change from above. Okay, line segment CD has endpoints at -5, 1, and D, -1, +2. Line segment. Graph it after a reflection of the x-axis and a 90-degree rotation. So first off, we're going to reflect it over the x-axis, which is right here. So C was 1 above, C prime is 1 below. D prime here is 2 above, D prime here is 2 below. Now it has been reflected. So C, again, X doesn't change, Y becomes its opposite. D prime, X doesn't change, Y becomes its opposite. Now we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. Now remember, when we rotate 90 degrees, that's when XY becomes -Y, X. That's in your notes, but as a reminder, we just flip them. So, C prime was at -5, -1. So, -1 becomes +1, and we move X into the Y position. And then D double prime, again, Y, which was -2, becomes +2, and we move -1 into the Y position. Which makes sense because we want to end up in this quadrant, so we're going to go right 1 and down 5. That's C double prime. And 2, -1, that's D double prime. So if you can kind of imagine this rotating that way, 90 degrees, you can kind of see it, imagine it rotating into that position. Okay, triangle ABC. A is at -6, -2 down here. B is at -5, -5, no, down here. I almost went into the wrong quadrant. And C is at -2, -1. So everything is down here in quadrant 3. We are first going to rotate it 180 degrees. Now remember, when we rotate 180 degrees, it's going to end up in this quadrant, directly diagonal from there. And remember, with rotation, all we do is flip y for x and x for y. So a prime is going to be negative 2, negative 6. Which doesn't make any sense at all, which is why I should double check my notes, because like I said, I use the notes too. With this, we just make both of them opposite. There is no exchanging. And that makes more sense. So that is going to give us 6, 2, which makes a whole lot more sense. And see, that's what the kind of stuff the mistakes can be made, but it's the reasoning that makes you notice why it's wrong. Because negative 2, negative 6 would have been down here, and we already predicted that we wanted to end up here. So it's a good mistake to make and to learn from. And even when we think we can do it without our notes, if we end up in the wrong place, we just say, hey, let's double check the notes. And it's okay. So B, just make them opposite, and that's easy because it's going to become 5, 5. So that's B prime right here. And C prime is going to be positive 2, positive 1. And you can kind of see if you rotated it like so, you can kind of imagine it spinning, rotating, and becoming over there. Okay? Now, we're going to take that one and translate it left 2 and down 4. So each point is going to move left 2, 1, 2, and down 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's my B double prime. C is going to go left 2 and hit the axis and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my C double prime. And A is going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my A double prime. So A double prime is at 4, negative 2. B double prime is at 3, 1. And C double prime is at 0, negative 3.